Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 19. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching, and I want to welcome you to this week's podcast, and I want to thank you for sharing your time with me. I say this every time, and I truly mean it. Our time is the biggest gift that we can give and share with somebody, and the fact that you're willing to share your time with me means more than you will ever know. So in this week's episode, I want to talk to you about what some people, myself included, might be experiencing just because of the time of year we're at. So depending on when you listen to this podcast, right now, it is our first full week back to work in 2024. So we're coming off of a holiday season, right? The last quarter of the year is full of all kinds of holidays and reasons to celebrate life and family and friends and enjoy ourselves and move into the new year. And a lot of us have set goals, have set resolutions, have set intentions that we spent a lot of time working on in the last quarter of last year. And we've created this vision and this dream of what we want it to be like. And in the moment when you're doing that and you're creating all the strategies and all the action steps and all of that goes with it, and you're in that creative mode, you feel invincible and you're super excited about all of the opportunity. Well, here we are now in the space of doing all of those activities and those strategies to ultimately fulfill our goal, our dream, our vision. And this may be the time when you're experiencing and feeling some resistance or you're experiencing and feeling some doubt. I've done this for a long time where I've coached entrepreneurs, real estate agents in particular, and I've been with you on this walk where we are creating a truly powerful plan for your upcoming year that really is bulletproof, that when followed will get you to your desired vision or your desired goal, your desired intention. And yet when it comes time to doing the activities, and usually to get to a different goal, you got to do different activities. This is where our brain can kick in and cause a little bit of chaos for us. And so that's what I want to talk about today, is that we might be in a space of resolution resistance right now. We might be in the space of having a lot of doubt, like, what was I thinking? Yeah, when I was writing this, it all sounded great. But now when the reality of me doing these things, it's just not realistic. And, who am I to think that this was something I could do? So we might be finding ourselves in that space. And here's what I want you to know. The resistance you're feeling, the doubt that's being created, all of that is just a story being created by your brain to do its best to protect you. Because the brain views change as danger. And when the brain senses danger, remember, we have a pretty primitive brain, the same brain that told you not to leave the cave to go get food because you might get killed, is really the same brain we're working a lot with today. And that brain is doing its best job to protect you from change because it views change as danger. And when that happens, it will release some hormones, and we don't need to go to a whole long dialogue about that, but just know that it can create fear, flight, fight, or freeze. And that's what some of us might already be feeling about these new goals that we set, because the brain is tricking you into feeling that way. So it's really normal. So I want you to know that. And so I'm speaking here from my own experience. I too have these moments of what the heck was I thinking when I set these goals? And what was I thinking when I wrote these action plans, that I would actually do these activities that I've never done before because I am completely uncomfortable with them. And there's a great chance that I'm going to fail, and I don't want to fail. That is a lot of the conversation I have with myself. And that's a lot of the conversations that my clients and you might be having with yourself right now about the goal that you set for yourself for the upcoming year and the activities that you've committed to do. So I'm there with you. Um, we have set some really aggressive goals for Rethink Coaching for 2024. Numbers on the paper for our goal that I've never seen in my own personal business before. And when I look at the numbers, I get incredibly excited and I get a little sick to my stomach thinking it's going to require me to show up as a different person this year if that's really what I want to do. And this is where you're going to learn about your commitment to your results. Because this is the time when a lot of us just say, screw it. You know what? Last year was a great year. I make more money than most people. I'm able to live a life that I enjoy. And do I really need more? Okay. That again is the brain creating a story to protect you from change. And you might be experiencing that, but this is what's really important. I want you to think about all of the reasons why you chose the goal that you chose and the excitement that you had for it when you were writing it, because that has not changed. All that is happening is it's getting clouded with doubt and it's getting clouded with, I'm going to have to work differently this year to make it happen. And maybe it's harder. Maybe it's doing activities that you've never done before. Maybe it's doing something that you said you would never, ever do because you're not going to do that. But you realize that in order to get to where you want to get, you got to do something different. And this is again where your resolve is going to be tested. So just know that some of these feelings you're having are really pretty normal. You know, I think it's pretty easy to see as a society, as a human being, we tend to not want to fail publicly. I mean, I think about social media. Um, I don't know about you, but I've not opened up Facebook or Instagram and seen anybody that I know saying, oh, hey, today, look at me. I failed royally. Let me tell you the big colossal effing mistake I made, and I'm going to share it with the world to know how bad it was. We don't see that. So we've been conditioned to avoid failure. We've been conditioned to hide our failures and to not let anybody see because we want to look good and be right. And what I'm going to invite you today as we move throughout this call is to accept the fact you're going to fail. Accept the fact that you're going to fail this year. Get over it. Just get over it. You're going to fail. I'm going to fail. And here, this is probably going to sound really odd to you. I hope I fail a lot. And honestly, I hope you fail a lot. And that may seem weird coming from a coach. Like, why would a coach want you to fail? You know, I hope my clients fail. And let me tell you why. Because if you're failing, I know you're trying. If you're failing, I know you're doing the work. I know you're doing something that's maybe a different skill set for you or an enhanced version of something you used to do. And the fact that you failed tells me one thing. You took action. Where I get nervous as a coach if my clients are failing, because I know in that moment they have defaulted to their old ways because it's comfortable and easy, and they're not taking the risk that it's going to take to get to that new goal, new vision. So I wish you failure this year. I know that sounds really messed up. I know it does. And I hope you're hearing the reason why I wish you failure, because there are so many lessons in the failure. And it is evidence that you're doing your best to show up differently. It is evidence to the world that you're willing to take a bet on yourself and do things that you've never done before, and that you're going to take the risk. And if you fail, hallelujah, you're going to learn from it. I can remember, and I've been very blessed to have some great mentors in my life. And I can remember being in a private group with Gary Keller and him saying to the audience, and we were all coaches with the company, and he said, you know, the only reason I'm up here and you're sitting in that chair is because I failed more than you. And, you know, that hit me really hard because I've never really thought about that. I've always been taught that failure is a bad thing. If you failed, you know, you weren't stupid, but you just weren't, bright enough to navigate this and figure it out. And so when Gary Keller really gave me permission to fail and gave me permission that failure is where the best lessons in your business will lie, I actually got excited about failing. So I'm going to invite you to think about it a little bit differently. If you're experiencing resistance for fear of failing, go fail. Go fail. Go do it. Most of our great lessons come out of failure. You can look at some of the greatest inventors, Edison. They don't talk about they didn't stop when they failed, right? They kept going. I think about babies, right? When babies get to the phase that they're going to walk, they fall down how many times, but they don't give up because every time they fell, they learned something. They learned about balance. They learned maybe I need to hold on. They learned about, the different levels of floor, whatever. They've learned stuff, right? You don't see an infant or a toddler who's ready to take their first steps fall down and never try it again. The fact that they failed, they learned, and they're going to get up and do it again, and they're going to fail, and they're going to learn, and they're finally going to get up and actually be able to walk, and then they're going to run. And then as a parent, you're wishing they weren't walking and they're crawling again because they're easy to take control of. But anyway, embrace the failure. And so if you're experiencing some resistance right now, it could be just because of the fear of failure and not looking good. The other thing about this that I want to impress upon you is over 90% of what we do as humans, so as business owners, entrepreneurs, real estate agent, real estate leaders, whatever you fall into, human being, over 90% of what we do is conditioned habitual behavior. And so that's where the comfort is, right? It's conditioned habitual. Some of it's good, some of it's not good. And we default to it, and the brain loves it when you default to it because it knows what to expect, right? So if I default to the behaviors I had in 2023, why would I expect to get a different result in 2024? I'm going to get exactly what I got in 2023 because I'm doing those activities. So we've got to acknowledge the fact that over 90% of what we do is conditioned habitual behavior. And I want you to think about this. This is a great universal law. Do what you've always done, and you will get what you've always gotten. So this is where we've got to break that cycle a little bit and not default to the 90% of conditioned habitual behavior and embrace the discomfort of doing something different. Your growth as a human being, your growth as a business owner, all lies within failure and discomfort. And I know this may be weird to hear. I mean, your parents, your friends don't talk about it. And I might be the first person saying it to you. I hope you fail, and I hope you're extremely uncomfortable. I really do. Because again, I know you're growing. Again, I know you're doing something to move towards that goal or that desire of yours. So embrace failure and be excited about being uncomfortable. I think about it, right? I think about being uncomfortable. And there are many things that we are currently doing in our lives, our businesses, that we once were uncomfortable doing. And once we learned and learned and learned and failed and learned and failed and learned, what we were uncomfortable doing, now we're comfortable. So we've reached a new plateau. And in order to get to that next level, we're going to have to go through that little tunnel of uncomfortableness again. And over time, you're going to feel comfortable. And then we're going to raise it again, get you uncomfortable, and then comfortable, raise it again. And all the while experiencing failure. The other thing that can attribute a little bit to our resolution resistance is one of our core basic human needs in life is certainty. We thrive in certainty. And when we experience uncertainty, it's when things can get a little fuzzy and shake you a little bit and want you to go find certainty. And so going to what we talked about failure, what we talked about being uncomfortable, we talked about 90% of what you do is conditioned habitual. If you're lacking certainty, the easiest way to find it is go back and do what you've always done, because that certainty, it's evidence, it's proof, right? There's a different way to create certainty. And I want to talk about that because as you're moving towards different goals in your life, whether it's more money, whether it's balance, whether it's working less hours, more time with your family, I don't care what your goal is, you're going to feel a lack of certainty at some point. And that is when the temptation is to default to what you've always done. And we know we don't want to do that because we want to get a different result. So you have to look at ways of creating certainty to fill that basic human need so it doesn't hold you back and suffocate you, that you can move through it. So this may sound crazy, but one way that I can create certainty when I'm doing something I've never done, right? So I'm about to do some things this year from a sales and marketing perspective that I've never done. And it's going to involve me doing some things, and it's also going to involve writing some big checks to make it happen. And there's a lot of uncertainty around that. And it creates the what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if, right? And I'm lacking certainty. And so the human part of me says, well, F it, just forget about it. You don't need to do that. Go back to what you know works. Where I have found a lot of certainty when I'm venturing into a new area is to surround myself with people that have already done it, that have already achieved it. So one thing I have done is I have a coach who is performing at a much higher level than my goal that I have set for me for 2024. I want to work with somebody who has already achieved what I'm hoping to achieve, because that creates a level of certainty, right? I can look at my coach and say, they've done it, it's possible, then it's possible for me. And that creates a space of certainty for me. The other thing that I've done is I have surrounded myself with 5 peers, so 5 other coaches who also own their own coaching companies. And I've surrounded myself with other coaches that are achieving at or above the level that I'm desiring to achieve in 2024. Again, I'm learning from them. I'm hearing the things that they did that worked well and that didn't work. So I'm taking from them things that I know are proven to work because they've already done it and they were successful. And that is helping create certainty for me. The other thing that I'm doing is I am involving myself in as many masterminds as I can. And that term, there's a whole nother conversation, but that term mastermind has been really abused over the years. I'm talking about a true mastermind where you get with a group of people that are performing at different levels, and you are talking about the things that are holding you back or the issues that you're experiencing. And then everybody shares, masterminds, the ways that they've overcome those things and share what they have done so that you can take from those resources and implement them in your business, again, creating some certainty. So a coach, a group of people, and a mastermind, those are ways that I'm creating certainty in a very uncertain space that I'm headed into as the owner of a coaching company. So whether you are looking to do X amount more units this year as a real estate agent, whether you're looking to add 3 people to your team as a real estate business owner, whether you're looking to create balance, right? You're going into territory that is going to have some uncertainty. Go create the certainty. So fail, get uncomfortable, and embrace the uncertainty. These are all things that if you're feeling some resistance to your new goal or you're feeling some resistance to your resolution, I just like calling it resolution resistance because it's kind of fun. But if you're feeling some resistance, these things are probably happening in your world. You're afraid of failing. You don't want to be uncomfortable, and you're lacking certainty. Those 3 things are the perfect storm to hold you back from moving towards the goal. So I want you to remember this. If you're not failing, you're really settling. If you're not failing and you're achieving your goal, you didn't set your goal big enough. You didn't stretch yourself enough. I've seen that happen before where somebody undersells themselves and they're just cruising along, moving towards that new goal when there's so much more left in the tank and they just didn't have someone that they could partner with to challenge them and to get them to think a little bit bigger. So if you're experiencing resistance or doubt or the what the heck was I thinking when I agreed to that goal with my coach, or I wrote that goal for myself and I wrote all these crazy activities that I've never done, if you're in that space, it's okay. It really is okay. And I know from my conversations with people across the country, that a lot of people are experiencing that right now. The reality, right? We went from dream, fantasy, oh my God, my life is going to be great when I achieve this goal, to now I got to do it. And we're experiencing some awkwardness about it. So those are the things I'm going to invite you to think about doing in 2024. Fail, uncomfortable, certainty. When you're experiencing fear of failure, you're experiencing massive discomfort, and you're lacking certainty, you're on the right track. I know that might sound crazy, and you're thinking, who is this crazy person? It is when you're on the right path, and it is your path to achieving massive breakthroughs. So I rarely do this, but I'm going to get on a soapbox. Podcasts are amazing, and I'm so appreciative that you're here and that you trust me and you allow me to share with you some of the things that I do as a coach with my private coaching clients in one-on-one and group coaching. But I am going to get on a soapbox and invite you that if you are looking to do something different in 2024, do not go alone. Don't do it. I would say at a minimum, mastermind, get a group of peers, and hire a coach. Hire a coach. My peers are great. They're not coaches. My masterminds are great. It's led by a coach, but they're not my coach where I can talk about my business and my stuff. So I'm just going to invite you to think about, as you move into 2024, to plus your environment with mastermind groups, with some peers that have already achieved what you're looking to achieve, and to invest in yourself and hiring a coach. Now, if you're not in a financial position that you can afford one-on-one coaching, there's some options for you. So here's what I'm offering. You can reach out to me, Tony@rethinkcoaching.com. You can go to our website, rethinkcoaching.com, and you can find my cell phone information. You can find me. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, the whole bit. Reach out to me and schedule a strategy call. I may not be your coach, but what I can do is talk to you about what the impact of a coaching partnership can look like for you. And I can give you some guidance as to where you are financially and where you intend to be, onto where maybe you should be. Should you be in a group program? Should you be in one-on-one coaching? Should you not be in anything yet? And I will be painfully honest with you, because I would never want to set anybody up for failure, but I'm telling you, embarking on a coaching partnership when you're really committed to your goals and you're already feeling a little bit of resistance and uncertainty and discomfort, this is the time to do it. I'm really going to push this hard for you to hire a coach, and I would love for it to be us, but it doesn't have to be us. And I will be that person that tells you you're not a fit for Rethink, but I know a lot of coaching companies, and I think you should go interview these people, and I will send you on your way, and I'll bless you and want you to have the best experience. So fail, get uncomfortable, and have lack of certainty. Those are my 3 challenges for you for this year, and hire a coach. Thank you again for your time. Truly, truly, truly appreciate you. It's a fun time of year. It can be, if you get out of the space of being resistant or second guessing yourself. Show yourself a little bit of grace. As human beings, we just came off of a holiday, off of several holidays, whatever your holidays are, whether it's Christian or not. It's the time that we spend with our family and our friends, and we really get to experience that at a high level. And then we just really come back to normal, if you will. And so give yourself a little bit of grace, but do not allow yourself to settle and fall back to old behaviors. All right, team, I appreciate you so much. I will see you in a week. I will be here with another topic for us to discuss. I'm always here if you need me. You know how to find me if you've got a question, even if it's not to talk about coaching. But if you've got a question, just reach out. We would love to help you. Take care. We'll see you next week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.